And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Saturday's edition of New Distributor Training. My name is Fred Holmes. I'm an independent distributor with Zija International, and my privilege to be the host this morning. Always excited about Saturday mornings. It's an opportunity for myself and then others who participate as part of our training team to share some information with our new distributors and our up-and-coming distributors and also some of our well-established distributors, things that we've gathered over the years, and in some cases, like old guys like me, decades of experience in network marketing, to perhaps share some things with you that will help you in the development of your Zija business. This morning, very excited about this morning. It's actually a culmination of many of the activities that I've participated in this week, and I hope you're going to enjoy it as much as, because I know I'm going to enjoy it. Here's the bottom line, folks. Whether or not you enjoyed the training, I'm going to have a lot of fun. So why not come and join me and have some fun? Let me do the requisite announcements and that sort of thing. I'm going to close this out here. Oh man, look at all the people. Jeff, good to see you. Don, good to see you. I'm not going to call out all the names because this will take all day, and I'm going to miss somebody, and I don't want to offend anybody. But good to see you, Johnny. Good to see you, my friend. Now. For those of you that are just attending for your very first time, first of all, very special, warm welcome to those of you that are our newest distributors. Maybe you're just getting started with Zija. You somehow were directed to this particular webinar, New Distributor Training. Excited about learning what we do, how we do it, how to build your Zija business, and so on. I got a little good news and a little bad news, okay? Here's the good news. We're going to give you all of the information you need, even as a brand new distributor, on exactly what it is we do and how we do it, how to build your Zija story, how to develop a prospect list, how to create, your 90-day game plan to get off to a fast start. Here's the bad news. I'm not going to do it right now, okay? That information has already been developed and archived and available to you at any time that you desire. We use this platform, ongoing Saturday morning new distributor trainings, and I'm not the only one that does this. We have a number of people that participate in this forum so that you can get the perspectives of many different people. We use this forum for kind of an ongoing, examination of those principles, to share other things with you. It would be kind of a silly waste of time, quite frankly, to say the same thing over and over again every Saturday morning, and we don't want to waste your time. So, warm welcome to all of you, in particular those of you that are just getting started with us, and something that's happening in Zija land right now, people that have been around for quite some time, primarily using our products and hearing what's about to happen with Zija and wanting to be part of, if you will, the Zija gold rush. That is probably no other way to explain what's happening in Zija today and will be happening over the next 3 to 5 years. It is a Zija gold rush. Stake your claim, be part of what's about to happen. Now, I'm going to give you access. First of all, I'm going to give you access to some training materials that I've prepared. And I want to share this because this is really important to understand. For as long as I've been in part of Zija, this for many of you that some of you may know the story, some of you may not. Zija International is not my first foray into network marketing. My career actually began many years ago, many years ago, back in the mid-'80s. I was a much younger man, and I was a cross-country truck driver at the time. I loved that type of work. It was probably, well, I thrived in that environment, and driving 18-wheelers cross-country. Frankly, that's the job that I'd held the longest in my entire life. I don't think I ever held a job before truck driving that lasted more than 2 years. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But at that point in my life, in the mid-'80s, this was the fall of 1984, I was faced with a dilemma. while I was making a good living, what I thought was a good living. I loved what I was doing. My career as a truck driver failed to meet two of the most important things that I needed in my life at that time. My older son was hitting school age. He had some educational challenges. The school district wasn't going to provide for him. They just didn't believe he was going to make it. And I understood my son had challenges, but I knew he wasn't the boy they thought he was. And so I was put in a position where if I was going to fulfill on my promises to be that parent that was, as all parents choose to do or desire to do, to provide for their children, to allow the children to become everything that they have the capacity to become, I needed two things that truck driving wouldn't give me. I needed an extraordinary level of income so I could pay for those specialized educational resources myself. I also needed a much greater amount of time, freedom, and flexibility in my schedule than truck driving provided, so that I could be there with him during those formative years. And the only place that I could find both of those, a very high level of income and a flexible a schedule, was in network marketing. Now, I had a great advantage when I first started in the industry. My very first sponsor, my very first company, was already $1 million earner. So unlike most people, I had an opportunity not only to learn what it was that the professionals did in this kind of business, I also got to work directly with those $1 million earners. And that served me very well. Over a period of 2 companies in 10 years, I was literally able to retire. I retired in my mid-40s. I was very, very fortunate to be able to experience 20 plus years sooner than the average fella what it's like to be able to own your life, to choose whether or not to work, to be able to spend the time with the people you want to be with, to be able to do the things you want to do. I'm not going to say I was rich. You know, I made a lot of money in those 10 years, but I didn't spend all the money. That's a clue. You should write that down in your notes. Don't spend all the money. And I was able to set up a lifestyle where I didn't have to work and I could do the things I wanted to do. Now, what Saturday morning is about for me is sharing the information that enabled me, empowered me to be successful within this profession of network marketing. And little did I know, I guess close to 35 years, 34 years ago, what I did not realize then was what was going to happen in the future. And I was very fortunate to be introduced to this company, Zija International, I guess 11 years ago now. I had made at that point in my life, I had just come off of spending 6 years as a stay-at-home grandpa, raising my first grandson. It was time to move home and take care of mom. I was raised by a single mom. It was, it wasn't necessarily my plan, but it was the right thing to do to be able to care for her in her golden years. You know, I was single. Both of my sons were on their own and doing well. And then I was introduced to Zija. And little did I know, over all those years of being, involved in the industry, successful in the industry, retired from the industry, all that time, the company I was looking for was Zija International. And when it was presented to me, it had all the criteria necessary for success, but it was very, very young. And when you learn a little bit about the timing of network marketing companies, you'll realize when I started with Zija, it wasn't the right time to start with Zija. I am here today to tell you that today is the exact right time to be involved with Zija. Now, one of the things that was very important to my success was being exposed to what I called the Saturday morning new distributor training every single Saturday morning for many years. And what I've done is I've compiled a few videos that I'm going to give you the link to right now. I'm going to put it in the chat box. Let's see, chat box. Here we go. Those videos are available at my YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Fred Holmes Zija. And when you go to that, that doesn't look right. Zija. There we go. When you go to that YouTube channel, you'll see archived all of the videos that are part of our Thursday night Biz Talks business presentations, or Saturday morning new distributor trainings. All of those are archived there. You'll also see a playlist link, and in that playlist you will find 4 videos. I strongly encourage you, if you're brand new to our profession or to Zija, or if you're looking to re-engage at a much higher level, spend some time reviewing those videos. Okay, the first one is 30 minutes long. It's called New Distributor Training. It's exactly what we do and how we do it, the system that creates duplication and success. There are 3 additional little videos, about 10 minutes apiece, so another 30 minutes, if you will. How to develop a prospect list, how to develop your personal Zija story, your 90-day game plan so you can get off to a fast start. Those 3 10-minute videos, combined would be called, if you will, the Fast Start Training. So I encourage you to go there, listen to that. Be aware, what I've provided, I'm just one person, okay? There are many people within the Zija community. Many of our leaders have produced a lot of tools for you. Many of the people that are part of today's training may not necessarily be part of my personal organization. I've always felt that anything that I can contribute to anybody in Zija benefits Zija, the company, and in turn benefits all of us. You may not be part of my team, but the development of your success story may in turn be the inspiration to help somebody on my team get off to a fast start, build their Zija business. So I encourage you to look for your upline leadership. The people that are here today represent a number of the organizations within Zija. I'll give you an example. Pat Anderson. Pat has invested a tremendous amount of time and financial resources in creating great tools for all of the Zija community. I encourage you to check out her website. It's www.clubmoringa.com, and let me just go ahead and put that in there. www.clubmoringa.com, and there you go. And so, check that out, and all of your upline leaders have tremendous resources for you. And this is what I share with you is just one person's perspective. So I encourage you, be engaged with all of the leadership of Zija. Now, with that in mind, today I want to focus on something. Today's training is if you got the little email that was sent out, or you're one of my friends on Facebook and you saw the posting, maybe you were tagged or something. I mentioned that today I wanted to be discussing congruency, or congruence, and how it applies to your Zija business. I encourage you to grab your note paper, grab your journal, your notebook. When I first started in the industry, one of the first things I recognized is all of the top income earners had notes. They were taking notes. And so my original journals were little, spiral bound notebooks, the real cheap things. Over the years, I now have really fancy journals, they're leather bound, and they got the little gold, foil and the little ribbon dealy thing like your Bible has. It doesn't really make any difference how fancy the journal is. What makes the difference is what's in the journal. And so I've accumulated these over the years. Matter of fact, let's see, over that shoulder there, you'll see, let's see, it's mostly that shelf there that has a lot of my journals, the more current ones, last few years. But I encourage you to take this information down. It's not so much important that you hear it. What's important is that you metabolize it, that you commit it to writing, something that you can review and improve your understanding of. And then if you want to rise to higher levels of success, it is a requirement that you share with others the knowledge that you have gained. So grab your journal. I want to talk a little bit about congruence. Okay, now I have some definitions for you, and I'm going to bring those up right now for me. There we go. I'm going to give you a couple of definitions of the word congruence or congruence. One definition, agreement or harmony. From the Latin, agree or to correspond with. Here's a definition from psychology. Carl Rogers believed that for a person to achieve self-actualization, they must be in a state of congruence. This means that self-actualization occurs when a person's ideal self, that is, who they would like to be, is congruent with their actual behavior, their self-image, what they are doing. That's a powerful statement, because so often there is a lack of congruence between who we would like to be and who we are today, or our perception of who we are today. Let me give you another definition. Personal congruence refers to a state in which a person's values and beliefs are consistent with the way they live their life. I'm going to say that one more time. Personal congruence refers to a state in which a person's values and beliefs are consistent with the way they live their life. Now, it's important to understand that what I'm sharing with you today may not appear to be the kinds of things that you came here this morning to learn. Most people come to Saturday morning new distributor training to learn, what do we do? How do we do it? Who do we talk to? Where do we go? What do we say? They want to know those things. And at this stage of your development in the business, and here I'm doing the assumption that you're relatively new to network marketing or new to Zija, you're going to have to kind of just buy my story right now. What you do in our type of business is relatively simple. Okay, it's not brain surgery. You're not going to need to, get a PhD in marketing and business and that sort of thing to be successful. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest challenges for people that come to Zija to create high levels of residual income, but they come to Zija already successful in their own businesses and income and that sort of thing. One of the most difficult things for people to get is that it really is simple. And let me take it one step farther. It is important that you keep it simple. See, give you an example, you could be like a surgeon. You've spent, 4 years in college, 4 more years in medical school. You spent another few years in residency, maybe another few years for the specialization. And now you've got, 12, 14 or more years of education before you can start your career. A lot of people think, and I'll give you an example. There's a lot of surgeons out there that, I bury them in income. Okay. I remember I had a surgeon, young fella, well, not young fella, probably in his late 30s. I had a hernia surgery a few years ago. And this guy, he was all stressed out. He was still paying off his college education costs. And, my M6 would blow away his cheap Porsche. And I know I make more money than him. Now, here's the problem. Most people think, well, if it took, 4, 8, 10, 12 years or more of education to make, $200,000 a year or $300,000 a year, isn't it going to take 30 years of education to make twice that amount of money? That is not the case. If you will, the key to success in our business is duplication. Okay, and we've had training. Some of you may already have that in your notes. Duplication is the key to success. Having a system that is simple to learn, simple to teach, it becomes the foundation for being able to create a distribution organization that involves the masses. It's got to be simple. So I encourage you, again, go to the playlist on my YouTube channel, watch those videos. What most people don't realize is that what we do is about 20% of success in our business. Who we become is the other 80%. And that's a very difficult concept for a lot of people to get. But once you get it, then there's nothing that's going to be able to stop you from success in your Zija business. Jim Rohn said this before. He said, you can have more because you can become more. Had my personal sponsor once asked me, Fred, what are you worth, financially, meaning, my capacity to earn. So, well, I'm worth $100,000 a year, which back in the mid-80s, that's when $100,000 a year income was a lot of money, right? Even in California, it was a lot of money. And he said, no, you're not. And I thought that was kind of a rude thing to say, but he made a good point. He said, if you were worth $100,000, then you'd be making $100,000. And the logic behind that made a lot of sense. Congruence, being congruent with many different areas of your Zija business, is going to be key to your success. So I want to talk about a couple different areas of congruence. First, let's talk about congruence in your product usage. And then the corollary to that is your product story. And this takes me back. This was a number of years ago. We'd been in the Zija business for a while. We're doing pretty good. There was a convention going on, I forget where. I was spending some time with David Moses, and for some reason, we both went back to my room to pick up something. I don't know what it was. I forget the particular circumstances, but we kept talking because we rarely get a chance to spend much time together. And so as long as I had to make that journey, he walked along with me. We got in the room, and as I'm doing whatever it was I was there to pick up, notes or something, David noticed he thought it was a display. It was my supply of Zija products, because I use all the products all the time. And he made this comment, and it really stuck with me. I remember it to this day. He said, wow, Fred, you are really congruent with your product usage. See, a guy like David Moses gets this. See, he spotted that right away. I was 100% congruent in the use of my product. Now, understand what we're doing here. Our business is nothing more than sharing the product, sharing our income opportunity, and teaching others to do the same. But who we are is going to always speak much louder than what we say, okay? Who we are is the voice or the picture that people see when we're talking about Zija International, health and wellness, Life Unlimited, what have you, okay? Give you an example. If you're sitting there, smoking a cigarette and drinking a bottle of Diet Pop, what you're presenting to the world is incongruent with the message you want to be sharing about the natural health revolution. I mean, that's pretty obvious. One time I was in, I think it was Georgia for some reason. I'd been doing a training. I was talking about you only have to use the products you want to sell. And I was referencing, at the time, it was a relatively new product division to us, our skincare line, our original Gen M6 products. And I made the comment that I used the Sudsy cleanser, the daily cleanser, as my shaving cream replacement. And I was illustrating, to the fellas, when the minute I start talking about skincare from the front of the stage, the fellas, they just tune out and it's goes, oh yeah, that's my wife deal. And I had several different things I'd talk about, like, hey, fellas, if you're not paying attention to skincare, you're missing 50% of the population. And besides, your wife's going to come up to me and go, man, you have such wonderful skin. And during the break, I had one of our distributors come up to me and almost admonish me, saying, Fred, not everybody can afford to use the Sudsy cleanser as a shaving cream. And I was polite. I didn't say anything bad, but this is what I was thinking. Maybe that's the reason why I sell so much skincare, is because I use the skincare. And it's a principle I learned actually from that very first company. Only use the products you want to sell. One of the terms that I've used, and I believe I even use this phrase in the new distributor training, use all the products all the time. And here's the question I'm going to pose to you. Because if you look at my, and again, you know, I saved my wrappers. I didn't toss them. If you can see what's in my trash can in my desk, you're going to see like, you know, a gazillion of these and a gazillion of these, right? These aren't props. This is my daily method of operation, okay? Now, I go through an extraordinary amount of the Zija products on a daily basis. I do, you know, typically 2 servings of XM Plus, at least 1 serving of Super Mix, sometimes 2. I use all of the Ripsticks lines, both of the protein powders. I use a lot of the Ameo essential oils. Matter of fact, if you look, let's see, right over there. This is really weird. There's my my Omeo diffuser. I've got 3 of those things running in the house, you know, around the clock. You know, my mom uses the products. I use the skincare, you know, the AGX. Now, I don't use AGX women's formula, okay? I don't use that. But I do use the AGX men's formula. And, you know, in the protein, you know, I probably go through 2 of those a day. I do my triotic first thing in the morning, prime twice you know, a day. Folks, I'm 100% congruent with the usage of the product. Now, here's the question. If you knew how much product I used, it's an extraordinary amount of product, okay? It's probably significantly greater than the food budget for the average family of 4. I mean, I hesitate to actually think about, you know, to add up how much the product is. But here's the question. Do I use so much Zija product because I can afford to, or can I afford to use the Zija product that I do? See, that was what I was hearing from the person that I mentioned a moment ago that caught up with me during the break. You know, can't afford to use the Zija product. And I get that, okay? Especially when you're starting in Zija, you may not be able to use the amount of product that I use, but here's the question. Do I use so much Zija product because I can afford to? Think about that for a minute. Maybe that's why I can afford to, is because I use so much product, okay? Just suggesting to you that that's something worth thinking about. Which came first? The desire to use the Zija products and the implementation of that being congruent with what I'm presenting to the world? Did that come first, or did the money come first? I'm going to suggest to you the money followed the behavior. And everything I'm going to talk about this morning, I'm going to tell you right now, the results only follow the behavior. You cannot get results until you do the doing part first. Let's talk about your congruence with your Zija product story. And here, there's going to be some people that are going to be offended, and I'm very sorry, and I'm not thinking about anybody in particular, but I'm going to share this with you. Being congruent with your story, okay? If your story is, I got on the Zija products and I lost 35 pounds in my first, you know, 3 months or whatever. That's a great story. Look at how many people out there wish they could lose 35 pounds and be able to keep it off and do it in a healthy manner and feel good while they're doing it. Here's the problem. If you still got another 60 pounds to lose, you are not congruent in your story. Now, if you lost 35 pounds in the last 90 days and you're on your way to losing the last 60 pounds that you desire to get down to your ideal weight, that's a great story. If you lost those 35 pounds in your first, you know, 60 or 90 days, 3 years ago, all I'm telling you is it is negatively impacting your business. And you need to think about how congruent you are with what you say. Okay? It's the actions that people are looking at. Let's talk about congruence with your goals. And this is a delicate area, and it's been very illustrative to me, especially this past week. I've had an opportunity to be introduced to a number of relatively young people, and you know, I'm gonna be candid with you. If I got a choice between working with somebody that's, you know, 30 or under versus 50 or older, honestly, most of the time I'd prefer to work with somebody that's 30 years or younger, and it's not for what you think. Okay, reality is, it is easier for people that have some maturity to them to do this business. Okay, they have larger networks of contacts. Typically, they're in an age range where they've already accumulated a certain amount of financial security, disposable income, and their contacts are like that. And add to that, you know, somebody that's in their, you know, 40s, 50s, 60s is probably even more keen on looking at ways to improve health, wellness, vitality. I mean, honestly, most 25-year-olds aren't really tired, right? and it's a lot easier to be in great shape. I'm telling you right now, if I was 25 the way I'm working out, I'd be ripped. Okay, I'd be that. I'd be Calvin Klein's latest underwear model, right? Maybe that's a picture that you don't need. Point I'm making here is that oftentimes the challenge we have is that younger people haven't had the experiences that more mature people have. They haven't been around, 50, 60 years to be beat up and knocked down and kicked around and convinced that they cannot achieve their dreams. People in their 20s, they still believe they can get rich. And belief is the most important part of success. If you believe you can or you believe you can't, you are absolutely 100% right. And I've had an opportunity to work with be introduced to, through connection calls, a number of younger people over this past week, and I'm very excited for these young people. They are getting it. They are seeing the potential of our opportunity, and they're setting very high goals for themselves. I've also had the opportunity to work with some more mature people during this past week. And what I'm hearing from them are very safe, very limiting goals, because it's so much more difficult for somebody that's been around for a while to believe that they could actually do something of significance. All right. And to me, that's very, very sad. And so congruence in your Zija business, talking about congruence with your goals. Think for a moment and eliminate all those other distractions, what you've accomplished so far in life, what kind of lifestyle you have today, and so on. If none of those were limitations, if there was no limitation to what you could accomplish over, let's say, the next 3 to 5 years, what would you really want? Would you really want a little bit of supplemental income? Or would you really want an extraordinary level of income? As we get older, we start thinking about our children and our grandchildren. What do you really want for them? Do you want to be able to leave this world and not leave your children with debt? You've got that insurance that pays for your funeral expenses? Or would you like to leave your children and your grandchildren something of significance, something that is important? And so often, the older we get, the more limiting our goals are, because we've lost that ability to dream. And we say, well, that would be nice, but, and then this is what you say to yourself, I'll never be able to do that. And as long as you keep saying that, you'll never be able to do that. So are your goals for your Zija business congruent with your desires? Okay, and I get it. There's a lot of people out there that get involved in Zija for additional income streams, and they love their career, nurses and doctors or whatever, teachers, whatever. You know, I get that, and that's great. Be passionate about what you do. But here's my question. Would you do it if they didn't pay you? Would you keep showing up for work if they didn't pay you? And if the answer is yes, I would do this for free, that's why I need to have an extraordinary level of income with Zija, then that's great. Make Zija your part-time financial security and independence, and make your occupation an avocation. And go do it for free. If you're a nurse, go help people that can't afford health care. Okay? Do it for free. But if you can't say that, then maybe you need to question, are you congruent with your goals? Are your goals congruent with your desires? Let's talk about congruency in your activities. This is an area that, you know, I got to tell you, there's going to be a lot of people that are not going to be happy with me. Just like with the congruence in your product story. A lot of people that aren't happy with me. And you know, I'm going to apologize in advance if you're not happy with me. I'm sorry. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to make anybody feel bad about themselves. But I also know that I serve no valid purpose by simply making you happy. Okay? You must have the ears to hear and the eyes to see if what you seek is wisdom. And I'm not trying to say I'm giving, you know, I'm wise. I'm not. Okay, I'm just a guy. I've been around a long time. I've learned a lot of stuff, and I'm just sharing with you what I've learned. Now, congruence in your activities. If your goal is to create a large self-duplicating organization within Zija International, if your goal is to create high levels of residual income, all of that is very possible. I mean, quite frankly, look at the people that are our top income earners. I mean, really, I'm not speaking all of them. There's a lot of special people. Pat Anderson, she is a very special person. She was very successful long before Zija. But take a look at guys like me and David Moses. I mean, where would guys like us go to make this kind of money? I mean, seriously, for those of you that know us, and I'm not bad-mouthing David, I highly respect David more than most anybody in the profession because of what he's accomplished. But if you look at who he was and what he was doing prior to this profession, okay, yeah, no better off than me. All right, what's the difference? Creating congruency between our goals and aspirations and our activities. We've talked on previous Saturday morning distributor trainings about daily method of operation. If your goal is to rank advance from, you know, Builder 500 to Builder 1000 to bronze to gold to emerald to diamond and so on, there are certain activities that if you accomplish those activities on a daily basis, consistently performing the correct activities over a prolonged period of time, it is inevitable that you will get those goals. Okay? It is inevitable. It is a guarantee. However, here's another guarantee for you. If your activity, who did you share the product with today? Who did you share the opportunity with today? Who did you follow up with today? Who did you teach the system to today? How much time did you commit to your own personal development and skill sets development today? If your activities are incongruent with your goals, you will not achieve your goals. It's just real simple. None of this is brain surgery, folks, but sometimes we need someone to point it out, okay? Because more often than not, We as people, it's kind of a natural self-preservation instinct to say to ourselves, we're doing what needs to be done. And there are external reasons outside of us that are responsible for the lack of results that we were hoping to get. We talked about that, I believe, last week when we were talking about language and languaging, how to phrase things. You cannot allow yourself the benefit of explaining away results due to circumstances. Okay? You can't, because circumstances happen all the time. And whatever your unfortunate circumstances are, I guarantee you there is somebody else in Zija that has equal or worse circumstances that is thriving and building a business. And all I can tell you, okay, this is all I know, is that no matter what, there will always be circumstances, okay? There's always going to be life challenges. And I never try to make money out as being the cure-all for everything, because it is not. But I can guarantee you, no matter what your circumstances are, no matter what the challenges are you deal with, if money isn't one of them, that makes everything easier. So, example, if you have decided you're going to rank advance, here's a question. Do you know what you need to do to rank advance? How much volume do you need? How many people are you going to need? What ranks are those people going to have to be at? Have you established a game plan to get there? Have you developed a daily method of operation, the incremental steps necessary to achieve the volume, the number of people, the people that have to be Builder 500 or above in your organization to allow you to rank advance to, silver, gold, platinum, emerald, diamond? And if you don't know what those things are, how can you achieve that goal? This is real simple. I use a lot of truck driving examples because, well, I used to drive trucks and they're kind of common sense. When I would get, loaded in California, which is a little bit different than what some of you are thinking. When I would get my trailer loaded in California and then call my dispatcher for my delivery destination, they didn't say head east. Okay? Heading east doesn't help. You have to define, first you have to define the destination and then develop the route. What the dispatcher would say is you need to be in Lincoln, Nebraska by 5 p.m. Friday local time. Now, the reason I had to be in Lincoln, Nebraska by Friday, 5 p.m. local time is if I showed up at 5:01, they wouldn't start unloading the trailer. I'd have to wait until Monday. If I had to wait till Monday, that stuff might be, rotten garbage instead of, California strawberries, whatever. Here's the point, is that I needed to know where I was going, and then that allowed me to develop the route. Which route would I take? Which of the major, east-west interstates I would take would be a lot of times dependent upon weather of the moment. Okay, so this is part of being an independent distributor, being congruent with what it is we do. As an independent distributor, your boss isn't going to tell you you need to be a gold by July 1. If you intend to be a platinum or an emerald by the end of the year, you need to be a gold by July 1. Your boss ain't going to tell you that because you're an independent distributor. Your boss isn't going to tell you to be a gold, you're going to need to have 4,000 in volume in each of your two legs, and you're going to need to have 2 Builder 500 legs. Okay? Your boss ain't going to tell you that because you got no boss. You're an independent distributor. Do you know that? Now, part of being an independent distributor is being congruent with being a business owner. Give you another example. So often, we find circumstances that challenge our ability to do what we say we want to do. Here's a good example. All right. You had planned today to, contact two new potential customers, tell them about our new CBD product, contact two potential new distributors to share what's happening with Zija International, and maybe follow up on two people from yesterday, one a potential customer, one a potential distributor. That's your game plan for today. And then all of a sudden you find out, oh, wait a minute, I was planning on doing that. The problem is I've been invited to a barbecue, with friends I haven't seen in a long time. I won't be able to do that because I'll be hanging out with my friends. I want you to think about this for a minute. As an employee, if it was your job to do all those things, what would you do? And every time I've ever illustrated that, use that illustration, I always have somebody say, well, I'd call in sick. Yeah, employees can call in sick, right? Why? Because it's a benefit that you get from your employment. It's what we, independent distributors call the golden cage. See, you never have to worry. Birds in cages don't worry about being fed, okay? But they never fly free. They're never free to fly wherever they want. Now, change the scenario. You're a business owner, you got a shop in town, it opens up at 8 o'clock in the morning, you got employees ready to show up, you're paying them, you've invested a fortune in inventory and advertising to get customers to come in, and at 7:30 in the morning, your best friends that you haven't seen forever drop by to say hi and say, hey, we're here to hang out with you for the day. Does the business owner say, great, I'll just call in sick and I won't open my shop? No. No, they say, I'd love to hang out with you. Can you come back tomorrow? Or can you wait until 5 when we close the shop? Or, come on down to the shop. I'll get free about noon. We can have lunch together. Because independent business owners have to put the priority, if what they want in the long term is financial independence, freedom, they have to put the priority of doing the work today. Okay? Congruence in product usage, congruence in your product story, congruence in your goals. Are your goals really what you want? Because if they're not really what you want, then you're not going to really get what you want. Congruence in your, the desires that you have for your future, for your family. Congruence in your daily method of activities. And one more time, congruence in your behavior. Okay? Because I am ramping up my game, I, for one, am not going to miss the Zija Gold Rush. Okay? Some of you know the story. The last couple of years have been a bit of a struggle in terms of, the dramatic increase in need of attention and time with my mom. But nevertheless, I'm arranging my affairs so that I don't miss this. I don't want to miss the next 3 to 5 years with Zija. I am being congruent with my desires and my goals, but I want to point out something. Part of this is your independence. Now, in the early days of Zija, I want you to think about this. Do you think I called my upline, the #1 income earner in the company, David Moses, and asked him a comp plan question? Especially one that I could simply get out of the information in my back office. Even if I couldn't get it out of my back office, I called distributor support because I had limited time with my sponsor. The only things that I questioned my sponsor on were things that I could not get the information myself. Frankly, it just floors me when people call me and ask questions like, what's the price of Supermix? How much volume do I need for this? Information that can be gathered from the back office. Okay? It's great to be the one that has all the answers, but it is an incredibly ineffective way to run your business, because the only way that I can have what I've been able to develop is because I've got so many independent distributors that are building their businesses. And if you want what others have, then you're going to have to do what others do. Here's the good news. You can have what others have. You can have what I have, what David Moat, what Pat Anderson, what, you know, all of the top earners in this company have, because I'm guaranteed, well, I was about to say none of us are special. Some of the folks are pretty special, okay? There's a number of people now in Zija, you know, Dwayne Dyer is an example of one person that I've watched his career for a long time. He's an exceptional person, okay? But I'm sure if you spent time with him, he would tell you there was a time that he started and he had to learn all of this. The good news is there is really nothing that you can't accomplish, especially when you start to recognize the people that have accomplished the things that you desire. So I'm hoping that this was helpful to you. I know it wasn't as tangible as, you know, share the product, share the opportunity, teach others to do the same. This is what you say, this is where you go. We talked about, you know, third-party validation, the calling protocol, gave you some specific tips on that. But the things that I'm sharing with you today are vastly more important to your long-term success in any endeavor, but in particular with Zija International. So in the time I have left with me, I'm going to go over here to the chat box. Y'all been real patient with the question and answers. Let me go see what we've got. And if I missed your question and you'd like me to do it, I did say in the email, and I always like to do this, if you have questions, take this time. Okay, I'm certainly not saying I'm the end-all in terms of knowledge, but I've been around a long time, and so I know some stuff. And I'll share with you what I can, and what I can't, I'll ask somebody else who's a lot better than me to do it. Let's see. Good morning from Snowy Lake Taps. Hey, Mary, good to see you. Let's see. Hey, Kevin from Ashland, good to see you. Entertainment. Oh, Diana, I'm hoping you're talking about my music, not my dancing, because my dancing was entertaining to you. Sweetie, you need to get out more. Let's see here. Let's see. If there's a discrepancy between our values and actions, we appear less trustworthy and personal. You know, this is Ray and Lorraine. If there's a discrepancy between our values and our actions, what we say we want and what we do, we appear less trustworthy, personally and professionally. People see what we do, not what we say. Absolutely. Candace said, I've done the same thing, and I'm suspecting that may have something to do with limiting your goals because you, for whatever reason, you don't believe your capacity. And if I'm wrong, Candace, by the way, Candace Smiley, one of our, you know, Zija leaders, I tend to call her an up-and-coming rising star, but she's also part of our Zija leadership. She did an excellent biz talks this past Thursday, 2 days ago, with Landon Weaver. Landon Weaver is one of the young men in our business that I so admire and respect. You need, if you didn't get a chance to watch that biz talks, you need to go to my YouTube channel. Put it in there earlier, youtube.com/Fred Holmes Zija. The video's up there. It's been archived and recorded. Go watch that video. There was a lot of great gems in that. Let's see. Experience what you share. We are the products. Use all the products all the time. Yes, except for the AGX men and AGX women. If you're a woman, you should use AGX women. If you're a man, you should use AGX men. And if you're in California, you can do whatever you want. Okay. Just saying. Let's see. Congruence in our behavior. We are representative of natural health in and out public. Yep, very good. Thank you, Diana. Let's see. Oh, Danielle DeBoard. I love that it replaces my old products. I actually might be saving money with the quality of the products alone. This is very interesting. Thank you, Danielle. as a guy, okay, honestly, not real, savvy on skincare, but what impressed me was the response to our original Gen M program. It was the complete package was, I believe, $300, and to me, I thought that was a little pricey for skincare, because what am I thinking? Shaving cream and hand soap, right? And almost every single one of the women leaders in my organization um, commented that it was an incredible value, that the majority of the products could last, up to 6 months, and that they considered that to be an incredible value. And that wasn't even adding to it the quality of the products that we were providing in our original skincare line, Gen M line. Great statement. Money follows behavior, results follow behavior. Thank you, Candace. There you go. You have one opportunity to make a good impression. Ray and Lorraine, you guys are so right on. What if self-fulfilling prophecy? We are limited by the programming in our mind. Think deeper, reflect who you are and what you think. Let me point out something here, folks. We tend to talk about activities, which are critical. Okay, you got to do the doing part. Everybody wants the having part. Everybody would like to drive my car. Everybody would like to go to the gym that I go to. Fly first class, vacation where I vacation. And honestly, folks, I'm not saying that you want to drive my car, okay? That you want to go to my gym. You want to fly, well, most people want to fly in first class. If you've flown coach, you want to fly first class. And not everybody wants a vacation where I vacation. The point being is that everybody wants to drive the car that they really want, to have a workout routine that they really want, to be able to go to vacation where they really want to go to vacation. I don't get the ski vacation, okay? Snow, cold, wet, I don't get that, okay? No palm trees, no beach, I don't get that. But the point is that everybody has their own visions of what their life unlimited is. You're not going to get that, okay, if you aren't willing to do the doing part. One of my favorite concepts here, big screen TVs are a drug for poor people to spend their life watching how other people live and wishing it was them, okay? It's one of the reasons I didn't have, I left. I made it was probably 4 or 5 years ago, probably by now. I went out and I bought a big screen, flat screen, high def, 4G, whatever, 4K, whatever, TV for mom. Okay. And somebody, when I made that comment, I got mom that for Christmas. You don't have a big screen TV? No, I don't have a big screen TV. Why would I buy a big screen TV? It's the drug for poor people to spend their life watching the lifestyles of people they wish they could experience. Okay? I got the big screen TV for mom so that she could see her bird movies and Big Bang, right? Big Bang Theory, Young Sheldon. Keep pushing buttons. Candace. Candace said, keep pushing buttons, Fred. It is the role of a leader to call people to a higher place, level up. Ooh, Candace, you get 2 extra brownie points for that. Okay, 2 extra. By the way, love the level up t-shirt you had the other night. That was really, really good. People believe who you are by your actions, not your words. Yes, completely agree. Ray said that. Well, thank you, Candace. For those of you that are wondering what I'm doing here, if you open up your little chat box, you'll see what everybody was saying. And I'm scrolling through. I'm sorry I'm not doing the complete thing and maybe leaving some of you in the dark. Fred, how do you kindly and powerfully redirect people to find that information themselves? Excellent question. Now we got a good question. Thank you, Candace. and I've had this experience way too many times this past week, where people are calling me or texting me or, phone bombing me. By the way, folks, I get your first phone call, okay? It's not necessary for you to call 47 times. And then let me share one last thing with you. If it's important enough to call, it's important enough to leave a message. I get that voicemail is a generational thing, but guess what? If it's important enough to call, it's important enough to leave a message, because I ain't calling you back, all right? People say, well, I called you. I go, I noticed. I had no reason to call you back. You didn't ask a question. You didn't have any indication as to when should I call you back? Why am I calling you back? Yeah, just because you popped up on what do they call that? Caller ID that you were trying to call me. Don't think I'm calling you back. Okay, got too many people that are serious. Now, way too many times this week, I've had people call me up, and I'm not saying they're stupid questions, but they are questions that people could get answered without taking the 5 minutes or 20 minutes that I can give them that can help advance their business, to answer a question that they could find in their back office, or if they're having problems finding in their back office or reading the documents, call distributor support. Okay, Zija pays us 50% of the commissionable volume comes back to the distributor base in the form of our commissions. The other 50% is what Zija uses to run Zija, to acquire the products, the manufacturing facilities, pay for the personnel, and that sort of thing. Let Zija spend their money on what they said they do to help us in our business, which is provide distributor support. The question is, how do you, let's see, how did you say it? How do you kindly and powerfully redirect people to that information themselves? Candace, I can't answer that question, okay? Because quite frankly, I no longer have the time to be worried about kindness. I try to be polite. I try to do the best I can, but let me tell you something. Trying to be kind to somebody that's asking a question because it's easier for them to call me than it is for them to figure it out or find it out on their own, those people are the assassins of the future of my family, my children, my grandchildren, and the people I care about. I'm on a mission to secure the financial security, independence, and prosperity of the people that I care about. And somebody who takes 5 minutes away from me and my pursuit of the things that I've committed to is like the assassin of the future of my family, my children, my grandchildren, and the people that I care about. And so I maybe can't answer your question on how do I do that kindly. My typical response when I get questions, text, how much PV is, what's the cost of the super mix? Okay. I have kind of like a cut and paste response. That's a distributor support question. No conversation. That is a distributor support question. That's in your back office. Okay. I did have one time. What's distributor support telephone number? Now, when I first started the business, I had distributor support number on speed dial because I was going to call them if I needed them, and I'm not going to take the time. I'll put on your website. Okay, so that is probably not the answer that you would give somebody else, Candace, because you're a lot better at that than me, but that's what I do. That's the answer I've got for you. Let's see. That's a really great question, and you will find the best answer if you look here. Oh, okay. Now, AJ responded to that question, and again, she's a lot better than me. Her response to, how do you, kindly and powerfully redirect people to find information they can find for themselves? AJ suggests that's a really great question, and you will find the best answer if you look here. So, Candace, in response to your question, that's the answer I wish I had given. That's the answer I just gave, okay? Resources are available. Seek them. Upline is validation calls, not pricing. Absolutely, Ray and Lorene. Your upline is to guide, govern, and direct. Okay, that's our responsibility of leaders. The greatest thing that I can offer you and any one of your upline sponsors, and not just your diamonds and emeralds and whatever, your upline bronze, the greatest value that they can offer you is their story, because their story will document the product's work, the opportunity works, and you must have third-party validation to build your business. Let's see, resource available. Wise lady taught me to be the library card, not the library. Oh, AJ, that's really good. I'm going to use that. Next time you hear me say that, go, man, that Fred's good. The music. Diana, you like my music, don't you? The Biz Talks was awesome. Yes, it was. I've seen your dance. Uh-oh. Diana Barnes just said, I've seen your dancing. And then she said, well, at least you give it your all. Hey, listen, I'm just going to tell you right now. I love dancing. I'm not a good dancer. Okay? Doesn't mean I don't love dancing. Self-fulfilling program. I'm looking for questions. Simon. Let's see. Watch your goals on TV. Oh, yeah. Run your network marketing opportunity like a business. Absolutely. Thank you, Ernest. Real simple. Treat it like a hobby. You'll get paid a hobby pay. Okay? Treat it like a business. You could get rich. All right, very good. It looks like I got through any questions we had, and I've definitely gone over my allotted time. Folks, I hope you found value with the time that you spent here with me today, something beyond my playlist in the morning. I'll have this posted to the YouTube channel here a little bit later this upcoming week, and I'm going to cover a couple real things real quick, and I hope you all stayed with me. You have 7 days left to be the first people to receive our new CBD patches, okay? If you are all currently a Zija Premium subscription service holder, you paid that money, so you get the free auto ship and that sort of thing. You've already received codes that you can pre-purchase up to 3 months worth of the CBD patches, and they're going to be shipping. It's either the end of February or first part of March. You'll get these, you know, a couple of weeks before they become available to the next batch of people, which will be only the people in attendance at the regionals. If you are for this past period a member of the Team 500 or Team 1000, you've done enough volume through your customers that you're getting, you know, $100 to $200 free auto ship. You got your codes on Thursday. Now, those are the only people that have the privilege of being able to purchase those products in advance. If you didn't fall into either one of those categories and you're an existing distributor or customer, real simple, sign up for the Zija Premium Rewards program. That's a zero-brainer. I don't, you know, and forgive me, I don't worry about, you know, details. Okay, it's $120, something like that. What I do know is that if all you got was free shipping, you're making about a 20% return on your investment. Okay, the cost of the shipping of here to California for a case of Super Mix and XM Plus is $12.95. Okay, over you know, 12 months, that's what, $170 or something like that. The subscription was $120. That's a great return on investment. I wish my investments were making that. That's just zero-brainer. Get that. Okay. Now, in addition to that, you automatically get, I think, 100 points. So it's like a free case of auto ship or a free case of Super Mix. So literally, you make money by having the Zija Premium Rewards subscription. Okay. You can purchase that today, and you will be then sent the individual code to allow you to be first to purchase. You, even if you're not part of Zija Rewards now, sign up for it today. You will get that. The codes must be used by the 15th of the month. You have 1 week left to use those codes to be first in line to get first shipment of the new product. And folks, again, congruence with your goals. As I look at my organization, I mean, honestly, I've lost track, but there's got to be, 50 or more people, probably quite a bit more than that now, in my organization that are, leadership ranks, platinum, emerald, diamond, double diamond, blah, 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 blah. It is astounding to me the number of leaders that have not yet pre-ordered those patches. That's the Zija Gold Rush. Pat Anderson, whose business opinion I highly value, she believes she will double the size of her business this year on that one product, and yet I see a number of field leaders that haven't even ordered their product yet. Now, there's something wrong with that picture. Don't be that person. Then let's see, what else? The Zija Regionals. I will be at both of the Zija Regionals. That will be the very next group of people that will have the privilege of ordering that new product, will be those in attendance at the Zija Regionals. This week we got the standard events. We've got David Moses, Millionaires in Training Monday, Pat Anderson, Health Talks with Pat on Wednesday. By the way, she has archived 3 of the 4 episodes she's doing on the CBD product on her website at www.clubmoringa.com. Go check those out. Need more information on the product, go check those out. Biz Talks on Thursday with myself, and once again, new distributor training, and I'm pretty sure next week's new distributor training is Candace Smiley, I think. I'm not looking at my calendar, but that's what's coming in my head. Anyway, folks, we gone way over a lot of time. I hope you've benefited from this, and we're going to shut it down for now. I'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday night's Biz Talks, and certainly at one of the upcoming regionals. Thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care now. Bye-bye.